Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I am Rashmi Udeshi, living in Tanzania. I am a dual club member, club president of the Toastmasters Club, and also District 114 finance manager. We provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. At Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer today has a virtual hand raised, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Toastmaster Marie Cusin. Our Toastmaster of the day collects different international perspectives, is Indo-Bangladeshi by birth, Franco-Swiss by nationality, Canadian, thanks to Toastmasters. In District 61 and 86, even more so, as she was the public relations officer for the 2023 International Francophone Speakers Summit. She applies principle of inclusion everywhere as she goes. For today's theme, she is the ideal person. Please help me welcome Toastmaster of the Day, Marie Cusin. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much for your introduction, Rashmi. Dear Toastmaster and guests, I will be your Toastmaster of the day today. And this meeting's theme is particularly close to my heart because right now, you and I are encountering more and more people from different countries, especially with Leadership Speak, where there are over 30 different nationalities. I am training my ear to understand various accents. Here it is a tip. To better understand speakers on Zoom, you can activate the automatic English subtitle at the bottom of your screen. Get my ear used to a wide variety of accents also benefits me in work in the medical field at Lausanne, Switzerland, because it helps me better understand foreigner languages speakers speaking French. Yes, really. The skill we learn in Toastmaster must be applied outside of Toastmaster. So, are you ready to listen to different music from around the world? First of all, thank you to our greater Jyoti, who welcome you today in our club. We have two main parts of Toastmaster meeting, prepared speeches and evaluations. We will have 5 speakers evaluated by evaluators applying critical thinking, a skill specific to advanced clubs, to enrich the perspectives on each speaker's messages. They all come from all around the world. A toast will be presented about the theme. leading an inclusive organization. And our educational speaker will develop it. Evaluating all our participants is a hallmark of our club advance because it broadens the range of viewpoints. With our club, within our club, excuse me, I have a so with our international, flexible and responsive team, we will maintain smooth cohesion through the meeting, including our timer on grammar. And finally, we will close with the thought of the day. Open your ear. You're about to discover a world. So now let's introduce our toast. Adriana Cortoglu from Romania. She's DTM entrepreneur and the immediate past district director of the District 110, bringing with a wealth of leadership experience and a powerful commitment to growth. The floor is yours, Adriana.
Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glass. For me, leadership has never been about title or position. It's always about you, about people around me. I have worked with many members from different countries, different culture, different backgrounds. Some were confident, some were afraid about to speak, some were feel different, and some were feel invisible. I learning something very important. Please don't leave the organization, and people don't leave the organization because they lack talent. They leave because they didn't was seen, heard, or valued. An inclusive organization is a place where everybody matters. Not only the loud voice, not only the strong performance, but every single people. It's important for us. I always say the Toastmasters is a perfect place for you. As a leader, I'm truly care about members. And if I care about them, they feel welcome. If I care about, they feel safe to make mistakes. And if you care about, and also they will feel belong of the organization. Inclusive leaderships means we embrace our difference. We embrace our new ideas. We embrace people exact as they are. I have been what happens when a leader listens and encourages. When a leader says, I see you, I believe in you. Like me always, I say, I see something in you, but I know what it is because I encourage you, because I help you, because I support you, because I am there to be in your background. Inclusion not mean we are all the same. It means we respect difference and understand the difference and also diversity. Inclusion starts with the small action, a kind word, a moment of the patience, a leader who chooses to embrace before judging. When people feel safe, they share ideas. When people respected, they give more. And when they feel you care about them, they will stay here and grow. Leadership, it's also creating space. Space where people don't need to fit in because they are ready to embrace it. So In this morning, in this afternoon, in this evening, let's ask a toast to leaders who lead with heart, to organizations that embrace people, not numbers, to communicate where everyone belongs, to inclusive leadership, to respect, to people. Cheers, my dears.
Cheers.
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 Yes.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Anna, Adriana, thank you very much for this warm toast. Do you understand me? Can you hear me? Yes? Yes, it is okay for you. Okay. Because, excuse me. So now go on. We will continue with our timer. So now let's welcome our timer, Irfan Faruqi, who is double DTM from Pakistan, division director in day 122, a lifelong learner who loves storytelling on philosophies of life. Over to you, Irfan. Can you describe your duties?
Good day, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Irfan Faruqi. I'm your timer for today from Pakistan. I shall time you on the basis of colors that I will share with you. Yes. According to the time on the agenda, I will share my green light, yellow light, and red light with you. And at the end of each session, I shall post them on the chat box. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Irfan. So, our next member team of our meeting is our grammarian. And it will be Ray Riviero from USA. Ray Riviero, DTM, has been in Toastmasters since January 2011 on one of the charter months of Leadership Speak. He believes that to lead an inclusive organization like Leadership Speak, the member embrace the vision of its leader. So, Ray Riviero, up to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Leadership Speak members and our guests, as your grammarian today, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening to their language usage, their word of the day, and any special phrases that might be said during today's meeting. I will take note of any improper language, as well as outstanding words used, quotes, sayings, thoughts. And today's word of the day is embrace, a verb meaning to take in, include as a part, item, or element of a more inclusive whole. Such as we embrace Toastmasters to develop communication and leadership skills to grow personally and confidently. Please feel free to use embrace in today's meeting. You can use it while you're speaking, and you can even put it in the chat, but please refrain from posting the word embrace millions of times in the chat. I'm only going to count that one time per. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Ray Riviero. It is a very nice, a very a sensitive word for our theme. And it was a very good communication between us to find that. And I am happy that all the members like this word too and choose this word. A special mention to our guests. I am pleased to acknowledge our valued guests. Your presence enriches our club experience. So, Nelly, can you share the guest book link in the chat? Please, dear guests, take a moment to sign in. We look forward to learning about you and answering any questions about our advanced club. Let's connect after the meeting. So, thank you very much, Nelly. So now let's invite to the virtual stage our educational speaker. At every meeting, we have an educational speaker who speaks about 40 minutes. 20 minutes. So let's put out our evaluator, Sandra. Hannah Smith will evaluate our speaker, educational speaker, Guerdah Felix. So, for Hannah, leading an inclusive organization involves embracing acceptance of diversity and fostering a welcome environment. I will hand it over to Hannah Schmidt from Namibia.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. May I just request the timer to please raise the virtual hand so that he can be put into that corner again. Irfan, thank you very much. Guerdah is going to speak from Dynamic Leadership, Project 5, Level 5, Project 8, Prepare to Speak Professionally. And she has to present a keynote-style speech amplifying a professional level speaker's point of view or message in a style that supports the speech content. Let's embrace Guerdah's speech. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Guerdah is a distinguished Toastmaster, and she is a pathways enthusiastic, a connector, a teacher, and a life coach. Please help me welcome Guerdah Felix, leading where everyone belongs, Guerdah Felix.
Have you ever walked into a room and asked yourself if you belonged? Have you ever been among a group of people and knew that you were not welcome, even though you were invited? Have you ever worked somewhere and knew that you were merely tolerated? Show of hands. If any of these scenarios apply to you. Well, in my case, I have. Not because I lacked in something, but because of other people's opinions of me, because of biases. Imagine going to work every day, knowing that you are no longer part of the in crowd, that decisions are being made, but you are not part of the decision making when before you were. Imagine that you are being used to clean other people's mistakes, but you are not part of the creative force. Imagine what this environment can do to your psyche, to your emotional state, to your physical state. Imagine what you feel every day as you walk into that environment. You see, I questioned my sanity. I questioned myself, and fear arose. At some point, I did not even recognize myself. Brain fog, weight gain, weight gain, depression. I want you this morning to feel this so that you know when someone was one way before, when someone, maybe a coworker, maybe a member, when they were exuberant, they were happy, and then suddenly, little by little, their countenance is almost shut down. I ask yourself in those moments, not only what is happening, but how can you help? How can you make this person feel that they are part of the group, part of the environment, part of the community? When that happened to me, I had to take 2 weeks off sick because I dreaded going to work. See, I'm not one to take sick days too often. I didn't even take a week off when I was dealing with bronchitis or pneumonia. But in that environment, I needed to take those weeks off because it was for my own benefit, for my own self-betterment. The impact of staying in a non-inclusive environment affects individuals and organizations. Inclusion is more than a buzzword. It's a culture. Inclusion is not representation. Whether in the workplace, at a Toastmasters club, or even in your community, creating an inclusive culture ensures that everyone feels seen, valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their best. You know, at this point of the conversation, typically I would talk about biases, but I believe that in the last 5 years, we've talked about biases enough. Therefore, I will dive in something deeper. Because if we want to lead organizations where everyone belongs, there's certain concept that we need to apply. So now I am going to talk to you about the 3 different concepts to apply. 1, when you lead and consensus is impossible. Yes, we are going to talk about this because this is important. 2nd, how do you develop process so that we know we can fall back on the process when life is not going the best? And 3rd, how to sustain trust when cultural norms collide. because that will happen. We are humans. So that's why it is important for us to dive into these concepts. So the first one is lead when consensus feels impossible. It is to happen, especially in a diverse cultural group. What to do? First, name the tension without trying to fix it. Name it. Effective leaders say what others tiptoe around, what others avoid. Effective leaders, they name the thing. That way, no one feels attacked. Defenses are lowered and differences are embraced. Know that consensus is not always possible, but clarity is always required. Win-win. So when you are leading and consensus feels impossible, take a deep breath. Name the tension without trying to fix it. Number 2, design systems where differences strengthen performance. Ooh, this is a big one. Because we want to make sure that everyone feels that they are heard. We don't want everybody to be the same. I know many organizations intentionally reward sameness, same communication style, same leadership presence, same way of thinking. But when you create systems where differences strengthen performance, inclusion goes from intention to impact. Inclusive leadership is not only welcoming people from different cultures. No, it is making sure that what they say matters. It is making sure that who they are is embraced. It is making sure that they know without a doubt that they have a place at the table. This is inclusive leadership. One thing that I know for sure, in Toastmasters, we do have systems where differences strengthen performance. For example, pathways. We know what we need to do at every project. However, not one person will do the same, although it might be the same project, but it will differ. Why? Because we are very different one from another. So we have this opportunity in pathways to be ourselves, to create from our being, so that we are in alignment with who we are and present from a place of knowing. We are indeed privileged. Number 3, sustain trust when cultural norms collide. That will also happen. Do you know why? Because we are human. Because we come from diverse cultures. It will happen. Because we connect differently. We speak differently. We show respect differently. We even relate to authority differently. But how to sustain trust when cultural norms collide? And this is the most important part: connection. In Leadership Speak, do you know your members? Have you taken the time to talk to them? We are a diverse group. We have people here from 33 countries, but do we know them? And the only way we can sustain trust is to make sure that we connect with one another. Not because of our titles, but simply because we are human beings. And this is the only way that we will be able to make sure that people follow the process. This is the only way that we will work towards the same goal. In terms of that point, know that if there is anything, or when there's anything that does not work, you can always go back to value. And here at Toastmasters, we know the values of respect, integrity, service, and excellence. They are part of who we are. Therefore, when cultural norms collide, we can always go back to our values. But that we can do only when we are able to connect with one another. I have shared with you my experience when inclusion was not part of the game. I have also shared with you the 3 different concepts. And now let me demonstrate how inclusion makes a big difference in people's life. When I first walked into my new employment, as soon as I walked in, I knew that I was included. I received hellos. I received, how are you? I was greeted with, my name is, and what is your name? Who are you here to meet with? I was welcomed so warmly. And because there were people from different countries, I felt right at home. And to this day, I still feel the same way, because I know that I am embraced. I know that my contribution is valued. I know that my being at that company matters. Inclusion is not merely representation. Inclusion matters. And inclusive culture matters because it enhances creativity and innovation. It encourages people to connect. And it makes us become a big family, because we know that when we connect and we are working together, it is for the good, not only the good of me, not only the good of you, it is for the good of us. It is for the good of Toastmasters. It is for the good of humanity. So next time, whenever you are, wherever you are, please lead in a way that makes people feel that they are seen, valued, respected, and embraced. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, Guerdah. Guerdah, your informative speech was so well embodied that each of us could understand some of your emotions. Your process was well described for moving forward despite obstacles. In my opinion, your voice flow could have been more rhythmic to maintain attention. So now let's bring up our first evaluator of a classic speech. Nelly John Galido will be the evaluator of Nicole Whyte. Nelly, for her, inclusion isn't a head count, it's a conversation. It happens when leaders choose again and again to listen, learn, and lead with intention. Over to you, Nelly John from the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Good day, my fellow Toastmasters, and to our wonderful guest. Especially, good day to you, Nicole. Nicole's speech today falls under the path of dynamic leadership. She will be presenting her Level 1, Project 5, her second speech for evaluation and feedback. In her 5 to 7 minute speech, she is to deliver her message from a professional level speaker's point of view, using a style that fully supports her content. And as her evaluator, I'll also be keeping an eye on two things: to see if she continues to ace her Zoom presence and to ensure she truly masters the art of honoring her boss. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nelly. So, Nicole Whyte, she's a professional educator and an aspiring public speaker. Nicole Whyte, applause, Nicole Whyte. Have a good applause for Nicole.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Marie. I recently had one of those unexpected aha moments. It happened late one night during a conversation with my son. A talented artist he is in the creative space, and he was in the middle of working on a new project when he messaged me about his progress. He was proud. I felt his excitement, and it was palpable. I could feel it in every sentence. But I sensed that familiar mix of exhaustion and determination. Yes, my motherly instinct discerned that he was drained, though determined to press on. My instinct was on point because I proved a few minutes later a text, or his last text for the night. Mom, I'm going to take a break, eat, and then get back to it. When he said, get back to it, triggered an instant reaction. A poem from my elementary school days suddenly resurfaced in my mind. And that was decades ago. My memory is not 100%. Half the times, I can't recall where I left my car keys. But that poem came back to my mind word for word. The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. I sent him those lines word for word, certain they were exactly what he needed to hear. Then I realized the message isn't just for my son. It's for you and I. For all of us, we're each toiling upward in the night on our own journeys. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, are you determined to put in the hard work and keep toiling upward in the night? I am. And raise your hand if you are with me. I ask that not as an inspirational speaker. Let me know if you are determined to push to get to your goals or dreams. But as someone who is living it, I'm saying this, even though I'm still learning what it means and what it takes to be determined. It's a small steps, that's for sure, and the incremental habits. It's about the discipline to keep going, even when our bed, nice comforter, is calling our name, or when Netflix is already asking, are you still watching? You'd agree that sometimes the hardest part isn't the work or what you're trying to achieve or project you're working on, whatever it is. Sometimes the hardest part is the voice that we hear in our head, right? That makes those utterances like, forget about it, leave it for tomorrow, get back to it, it's too much, you're tired, and the list goes on. Soaring to new heights takes self-motivation and the drive to keep pushing forward towards our goals. In one of our recent extraordinary coaching session, our master coach, Brahma reminded us our timeline will change, but our goals should never, ever, never, ever change. And history is full of people who live this out. For example, Alexander Graham Bell. He invented the telephone. He spent countless hours experimenting, failing, trying, going back at it, before finally transmitting the first words through the phone. Perhaps his family members were the only ones that knew of his toiling and sacrifices and commitment. Those behind the scenes, inauspicious hours that he would have been up. Are you seeing yourself there? But he had the grit and an ambitious intent to solve a problem. He was resolute about achieving his goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I have one small request of you. Take a moment and think about a goal or a dream you are determined to achieve. Now, whether you write it down or simply embrace the idea in your mind, make this commitment to yourself. In fact, let's make it together. 1, I will not stop. We will not stop. 2, we will keep toiling upward. And last, I must get it done. I implore you to stay in preparation mode, even when stopping feels comfortable. Stay committed and resolute in achieving your dreams. The Heights by Great Men poem teaches us that character, influence, and growth are built by our consistency and determination to achieve our results. There is greatness in your consistency, your commitment, and your willingness to keep moving forward and upward. Your actions to move upward make the path clearer for someone coming behind you. So keep working, keep learning, keep trying. And like the greats who came before us, may we continue to toil upward in the night so that the heights we reach will inspire those we lead. Madam Toastmaster.
Well done. Well done, Nicole. Oh, well done, Nicole. Your persuasive speech was so well structured, with a beautiful story. Your call to action was very motivating. My recommendation will be to use the screen more, laterality and depth, to illustrate the different characters in your story. But very, very rhythmic speech. Thank you very much, Nicole. So now let's turn to the virtual floor over to our second speech. And the evaluator will be Iris Cassinella from Angola, a Toastmaster who embodies our meeting theme, learn, innovate, and connect, with a keen ear for impactful communication. Iris will help our speaker learn from feedback, innovate in delivery, and connect more powerfully with the audience. Without further ado, Iris Casanilla, back to you.
Vinod will take us on a clear and engaging journey through stories telling today. This is a contest speech focused on delivering a logical and clear message while building a strong connection with us all today. And through a well-structured story with personal insight, he reminds us that powerful lessons often come from simple moments. The speech is titled, "Where is the Mouse?" Please join me in welcoming to the world stage Toastmaster Vinod Packer. Vinod Packer, where is the mouse? The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Iris. A lifelong learner who believes the job of every human is to connect with their own self. Ooh. Vino Panicker. Where is the mouse? Where is the mouse? Vino Panicker.
The moment I walked into my office, I felt there was something wrong. Not the people, not the furniture, but a smell. And I observed everyone who was sitting there. They were sitting as if nothing was there. I just checked with one of my colleagues. Can you smell something? He said, yes, it's been here from last 2 days. You joined today. Why is someone not doing about it? What are you doing about it? He took an air freshener and said, shh, sprayed it everywhere. Now go and sit in your cabin. I went and sat. But after a few minutes, the smell started to be in the room again. I took the air freshener and sat down. I did this for 4 or 5 times in 30 minutes. And then I realized the smell is not going to go. I have to find out where it is coming from. So I requested everyone, let's find. So everyone started looking here and there, where is the smell coming? We could not find. Then I called our maintenance department. Can you send some help over here? He said, fine. 4 people came. For 2 hours, they searched everywhere in the factory, from bottom to the top to the AC cabinets. At last, they found 2 dead mouse on the ceiling. It seemed a week before there was some pest treatment that happened in the factory. And that mouse were lying there. That day, I learned a lesson. We all do this. Instead of looking for the problem, we cover up the problem with perfumes. How many of you do it in your life? I learned the same lesson at my home with the two most lovable people in my life, my mom and my wife. After marriage, they both were staying with me. Now, every evening when I walked in, my mom used to say something that this is what we used to do when we were young. We used to take care of our kids in this way, in that way. After some time, when my wife came, she used to say, your mom should do this, that. No shouting matches, no anger, but little by little, they were sprinkling something to me. I didn't understand what to do because I am a good son and I am a good husband, as all of you know. But this particular thing was taking my energy. Every evening when I came home, I knew this is going to be the routine. And I just sprayed patience, understanding, and kindness and avoided to find where the mouse is. Have you ever been in a situation like this where you actually knew that this is the problem and I need to find the mouse or the mouse is here, but you never addressed it because you just put a mask or you covered it? Because if you spoke, there would be a conflict. And the fear of conflict just made you quiet. And for 6 months, I kept doing that. Until one day, I was completely drained early morning 9 a.m. in my office when my manager, Mr. S.K. Mohammed, he saw me and he had always seen me cheered up in the mornings. He looked at me and said, son, what happened to you? He was around 68 years old and a father figure to me. So I told everything that this is what my situation is in life, da 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 da. He listened very carefully and smiled and said, you are in a mess. Then he calmly told me, today evening when you go home, build that courage to tell your mom and wife, sit together and tell them that this small nudges and your comments are disturbing you. I was like, no, I can't do that. That is one of the most difficult thing in this world to do. He said, you can't avoid suffering by avoiding it. You have to face it. And that message helped me. That evening, when I went home, I called my mom and I called my wife. I told them, sit down. My heart was racing at 200 kilometers per hour. But in a low tone, in the most loving way, I told both of them, your behavior is affecting me. Somehow, both of them understood this. And from that day, my relationship has only gotten strong. I took that courage to find where the mouse was and to take it from there. I am asking all of you today. It was my mom and my wife. For you, it may be your friend. It may be your club president. It may be your vice president education or a VP membership or someone you love. Are you covering up something in life? You know that you need to address this, but you don't have the courage. Today, I give you this challenge. Face what you fear. Find that mouse. Spraying is a temporary thing. Find the mouse, fix your life problems. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, Vinod. So well done. Your story is told with so much suspense. It's a perfect example of how to build a story with a plot. Your rhythm and your pauses are so well mastered. My recommendation? Come more often to our meetings so that we can learn from you. Vinod, thank you very much. So now let's call upon our third evaluator for the next speech. It is Pulkit Gupta. Let's hear from Pulkit Gupta, Toastmaster since 3 years, software engineer by profession from India. So the stage is yours, Pulkit.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Day, Toastmaster
Marie.
Marie. Perfect. Thank you for getting my apprehension. All right. The speaker is delivering a project from the Pathway Visionary Communication. It's a level 2 project titled Understanding Your Communication Style. The purpose statements of this project is twofold. The first is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his primary style. And the second purpose statement is for the member to share the impact of his style on others. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. I look forward to what the speaker will bring about his communication styles today. But for now, over to you, Toastmaster Day, Toastmaster Marie.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, our third speaker, is a design and development manager. 5 years as Toastmaster and past area director and aspiring to be DTM. Paramjit Singh, please understand me. Please understand me. Paramjit Singh.
He does not understand me. She is absolutely clueless why he gets so much frustrated whenever he talks. Please understand me. Honestly, please raise your hand if you have ever said or listened such words in your life. Thank you very much. Congratulations. That means you are officially human. And humans are the excellent communicators. Not because they are very clear, but because they are confidently unclear. For example, if I am just explaining amazingly simple things to one of my friends, and after 2 minutes, his face is like this. This says, I have heard the words, but my brain is resigned. Please add captions. And we immediately declare, oh, wow, why can't they understand simple things? And sometimes we gave them nicknames also. And my favorite nickname is brainless chicken. But the shocking truth is that our communication is not clear. The meaning of the communication is the response you get. Means whenever you feel someone is getting confused or getting offended, or he's just replying like, home. This is an unrequested, painful, but free feedback to you that you need to upgrade your communication. And now the biggest challenge is everybody react to your responses in a different way. The same sentence can be a motivation to someone, or it can be pressure for someone, or sometimes it's like offend. Somebody can take it personally, attack. So I was always wondering what's the best way to communicate. And I was always looking for the ghost answers. And then I was thinking, okay, should I make it more louder, more clearer, more logical? Or should I use even PowerPoint for my conversation with my family? Slide number 1, why I am right. Slide number 2, why you are wrong. And number third slide, any questions? And all these questions were answered when I took up the project, understanding your communication style. And I understood that there's not one type of communication style. And now even my official meetings became clear to me, because every meeting was finishing like a World War III. I will start the meeting, oh my God, I have such a wonderful idea. We will be able to do wonderful with this product. And my boss will immediately say, no, we'll see. Okay, what is the decision? And our project manager, where is the relevant data? Now I understood that this was not a conflict or a word war, but a clash of different communication styles. I was mixture of initiating and sportive, full of energy, full of ideas, and enthusiasm coming out of my ears. And sportive, I wanted everyone to be happy, inclusive, as well as emotionally safe. And my boss, on the other hand, he will not communicate. He will just say, go this, do this. No emotions. Never ask, how do you feel about it? And my purchase manager, if you don't bring the data, the spreadsheet, or even maps, he was thinking it's a rumor. So I could gauge their different communication styles. And I started analyzing even my family's communication style. And just imagine if all of my family is playing on the basketball ground, my elder daughter, she's a direct hitter. Scored, put the ball, no eye contact, thank you. And my younger daughter, she always looks for everything, very analytical. Even she will not give the pass, even calculating the speed of the wind on that same day. And myself, always sportive. Whosoever win, whosoever lose, I will bring the snacks or samosas or biryani. And then came my boss, my wife. She changes her communication style even before the Netflix changes the movies on the TV. And she always scores. So this gave me a biggest learning that there is no one type of communication style. There are some communication style which get responses, and there are some which can be ignored. Being nice doesn't mean that you will get the results. Being smart doesn't mean that you will always get the results. Being flexible in your communication style is what brings the results. So I embrace the same, using different communication styles. Now, to be very clear, whenever next time you are talking to somebody and you didn't get the response you are looking for, Don't say, please understand me. Say, I will try a different way to communicate with you. And once you get the proper response, that means you have become a master communicator. Or even not, you are going towards the master communicator. And remember one thing, if they don't get it, you didn't deliver it. So one question to all of you, did you get what I wanted to communicate to you today? Or I didn't deliver it? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Well done, Paramjit Singh. Your relevant anecdotes are told with humor, and this helps maintain intuition. And they allow you to convey a universal message. My suggestion will be to better link the anecdote together because I sometimes got lost regarding the central message. And please, Paramjit Singh, use an updated visual background. it's over time. Yes, it's not the currently we are not in the 100 Toastmaster birthday. We are 101 of the Toastmaster birthday. It was just an anecdote like that. So now let's hand things over to our fourth evaluator. We'll evaluate our fourth speaker. It will be our president of Leadership Speak Toastmaster Club. He works as a project manager in the Singapore government, and it is Holmes Teng. I now invite Holmes Teng to speak.
Thank you, Mary. Sandra today is doing a project from the Dynamic Leadership Pathways. It's a level 4 project called Manage Change. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a change management plan. And the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of a change management plan. When I connected with Sandra earlier, she did not specify a specific area to look at, except for a general evaluation, and that I should look out for a twist in her speech. Definitely looking out for that, Sandra. Back to TMOD, Marie.
Thank you very much, our president. Today, Sandra invites us to look at a change, not as something we do on a paper, such as a spreadsheet or procedures, but as something very personal we do within ourselves. Presenting succession planning with a twist. It wasn't the business that had changed. So, succession planning with a twist, it wasn't the business that had changed. Please help me welcome to the stage Sandra Rooks. Sandra, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Succession planning is big, it's necessary, scary. For years, I walked around believing I was a quitter, which is impressive considering that I've been in the same profession now for 43 years. I wanted to talk about managing change because that's the kind that messes with your identity. This is a story about my succession planning, but not what you think. I've been in financial support, selling, business, all of this time, and clients really depended on me. Wasn't I responsible for them? Didn't I say I would be back to see them annually? There I come with that old ancestral societal belief that once you choose something, there's no changing it. You must do what you say. I'll be back next year. I'll be back next year. It was one of those choose once, stay forever, because if I leave, I'm a quitter. No one questioned that, including me. That same belief followed me around for years, until eventually I found myself in a room in Toronto, crying over a word that didn't fit. Quitter! We were assigned in a landmark program to sit and write for 10 minutes what was on top of our mind. Not the happy stuff, what was sitting and causing us anxiety on the top of our mind. Write for 10 minutes about that painful experience. There we were, each of us writing through our own pain. Then you're to find someone you don't know, a stranger. That wasn't hard for me. I'm a long way from Toronto. And sit knee to knee with them. Silence rule. One reads and listens attentively. That's it. The other one listens. She went first. Her tears flowed, she read. Her tears flowed, she read. Her tears, they didn't flow quite as much, and she read. We had to keep reading until the tears stopped, and then we could switch. My turn. Full emotional mess. Quitter, fraud, never enough. Suck it up, buttercup. I'm sobbing. Like I just ruined my entire life. Meanwhile, I've been employed since disco was popular. Read it again, she says. Well, this time there were fewer tears. There was shame, hopeless, lost. And reading it over and over and over again, I wasn't crying because I was quitting. Turned out I was crying because I hadn't questioned a belief I inherited. That once you choose a path, you're trapped on it. I didn't know about choice. She, that little 26-year-old stranger, goes and breaks the rules, and she says, "Can I ask you something?" Sure. How long have you been doing this? Since 1982. That's like 26 years. I don't know anyone who did anything for 26 years. The amazement from that young lady's voice and her statement broke me open. In that moment, I understood 26 years. How on earth could I be a quitter? And yet it weighed on me so badly, but that was letting it go. And that's when I realized I wasn't quitting. I was just beginning to question an old core belief. Here's the part that people don't talk about. Even when a belief breaks, the change doesn't happen right away. Those 26 years of insight did not equal action, and I stayed for another 17 years. I chose to say, consciously chose to stay. After 26 years of insight, and now 43 years in the action, managing change is what I discovered is not about making one decision. It's about many honest ones, with the emotional energy still moving through all the time. So if you're wondering why change takes time, apparently my inner committee needed 17 more meetings. Oh, and about my practice? Yeah, my actual files, they're transitioned into their new home. The clients have been respected. The business has moved over to the new owner. Me, I just took longer, letting go of the identity. That was a big deal for me. Turns out that succession planning wasn't about selling my practice at all. It was really about releasing the identity I had of having that business for so long. It no longer fit, but I didn't rush it. I cried, I studied, I asked for help. I honored my clients. So if you're wondering why change takes all that time, apparently my inner committee needed even a subcommittee. And that's what was taking the time I needed in managing my change. Change doesn't start when you make a decision. It starts when you question the story you've been living in. Don't we exhaust ourselves fighting change? Change, that inevitable change, we fight it, and it's exhausting. Managing change is not about being brave just the once. It's being honest very often. Staying isn't always commitment. Sometimes it's fear with good manners. For me, letting go wasn't quitting. It was about letting go of that story that no longer told my truth. And then I had to choose what comes next. I had to choose the life I want on purpose. So here's my challenge to you. What belief are you still living because it's familiar? Ladies and gentlemen, change does not start when you make a decision. It starts when you question the story you've been living in. What will you finally give yourself permission to choose next? Marie?
Thank you very much, Sandra. Your presence on Zoom is remarkable. Your voice attracts attention, and your enthusiasm is really contagious, thanks to your vocal variation. My recommendation would be not to overact too much in order to better appreciate your life experience. And your central message about change is so powerful. Thank you very much, Sandra.
Thank you.
So now move on at our last speaker. Let's give the stage to our fifth evaluator, Irene Sadia. Irene Sadia is from Kenya, and she said, "We are all different, like our fingerprints. No two are the same. Yet every voice matters. An inclusive organization respects these differences, values each contribution, and creates a space where everyone belongs and can succeed." Passing the baton to Irene Sadia. Back over to you, Sadia. Irene Sadia, excuse me.
Thank you very much, TMOD Marie. Atul Sankar will be delivering his speech from the Visionary Communication Path, Level 2, Project 3. The purpose of this project is for Atul to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And the purpose of his speech is for Atul to share some aspects of a previous experience as a protege. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech. And when I reached out to Atul, he didn't have any particular requirement he wanted me to focus on, but I will be paying attention to see how Atul embraces Toastmasters mentoring. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Marie.
Thank you very much. So our last speaker, Atul Sankar, is an active Toastmaster and the current Division D Director of District 114. Atul Sankar, why advice is cheap, but mentorship is priceless? Why advice is cheap, but mentorship is priceless? Atul Sankar.
We live in a world overflowing with advice. How many of you have thrown up many advices and received many advices? Use the chat box below. Advice is everywhere on social media, on YouTube, in books, podcasts, and even from strangers we meet once. And most of it is free. But today, I want to talk about something far more powerful than advice. Something that cannot be Googled, something that cannot be priced because advice is cheap, but mentorship is priceless. Let me explain. And that's why Toastmasters has a mentorship program where after you grow after level 2, you become a mentor. And in that aspect, you have a mentee where you have to train. Advice is easy to give. It costs nothing to say, you should do this. It takes no responsibility to say, if I were you. Advice often comes without a context, without accountability, without walking the journey inside or alongside you. Mentorship is different. Mentorship is when someone doesn't just tell you the path, but they walk with you. They correct you when you're wrong, encourage you when you're weak, and believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. When I reflect on who I am today, I realize something powerful. I'm not the result of advice. I'm the result of mentorship. And for that, I stand deeply grateful. In my Toastmasters journey, I've been shaped by two extraordinary mentors. One is DTM Suresh and one is DTM Brahmamon. They didn't just teach me how to speak, they taught me how to think, how to lead, how to serve. They didn't charge me for their time. They didn't invoice me for the wisdom. Yet they gave me is something no amount of money can pay. Because mentorship doesn't change a speech, it changes a person. How many of you have taken mentorship seriously in Toastmasters journey? How many of you have been contacting your mentor? How many of you have been thankful to your mentor? And when I speak about mentorship, I cannot forget my late father, my first mentor, my silent teacher, and my strongest foundation. Through his values, discipline, and actions, he shaped who I am. Even today, his guidance leads me. You see, advice tells you what to do. Mentorship shows who you can become. Advice is transactional. Mentorship is transformational. In my life, I would like to share a small journey of my life. I want to do something big. I don't want to achieve something big. I was fond of bikes. I just wanted to be a bike rider since my child, and I was having real passion to drive bikes. But my late father was a great leader, and he was a man of values. If I'm a leader today, if I am pursuing something in leadership, it's just because of my late father. Because he taught me what is leadership, taught me what is growth, he taught me what is business. And I think that's the step-by-step journey because they go with all the mistakes I've been making. I've been recorrected by all my mentors from the start till the end, whether it's Toastmasters, whether it's business, whether it's a speech. Every one of us have mentors who have been shaping us, and we should always have a reflection to thank them. And mentorship is really powerful. We should always select a mentor whom we find they're having the right values and who think that this is my mentor. This is a person where I can lead. We are not done by ourselves. And when I speak about my late father, Through his values, discipline, and actions, he shaped who I am. Even today, his guidance leads me. You see, advice tells you what to do. Mentorship shows you what you can become. Advice is forgotten quickly. Mentorship lives within you forever. That is why mentorship has no price tag. I stand here today, not self made, but mentor made, shaped by my mentors, grounded by my mentors, and committed to becoming a mentor for others. Because if advice is cheap, then mentorship is not just priceless, it is a legacy. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Atul. So, your motivational speech was very well structured by comparing two elements that seems different. One enriches, the other is free and blunt. They were well incorporated into your personal anecdotes. My recommendation, Atul, stop quoting other people and become quotable yourself. So now let's move on the following meeting. So Nelly, could you share the links for our dear guests? Thank you very much. Dear guests, let me unload the wonderful guests with us today. First timer and returning friend alike, welcome. Check the chat for Nelly's guestbook link. Sign in, tell us about yourself, and let us know if you would like to explore membership. We can't wait to connect with you after the meeting. Thanks, Nelly. So now we move on to our timer, Irfan Farouki. Could you share the timing report in the Zoom chat, please? And in the meantime, Holding Home, our Zoom master, could you share the poll to elect the best speaker, please? So, can we have the... yes, I didn't see the report of the time, but it is here. Thank you very much. Zoom master, is it okay for the poll? We can continue. In French, we say, who didn't answer is okay with us. So now it's time to meet our general evaluator for the second main part of our meeting. It is the evaluation of all the speeches. And she said, if everyone's expertise on real in our organization is not on the table, the organization will not operate at full capacity. The organization risks wasting time and resources solving problems whose solution is under its nose. So, I am passing the baton to Waiga Gishinga, our general evaluator. And she is from the Kenya. I think so. I'm not sure of that because I forgot to ask her. So, can you welcome to Washiga please, Waiga, please, excuse me. To you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And yes, I'm from Kenya. You got it right. Good day, Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to the feedback session. Feedback is one of the pillars of success in Toastmasters, one that we heavily adopt at Leadership Spec. When I think about feedback, I think about Albert Einstein, one of the geniuses we celebrate in life. He says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think we are careful enough not to walk that path because we thrive on feedback to adjust ourselves in both our communication and leadership. So this session has three categories when we're going to have evaluation from our speakers, then we have a report from our role takers, and then I'll share my report. So to start us off, I call the first evaluator Deputy TAC, who is evaluating Adriana on the toast. Deputy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Dear Toastmasters and guests, and very, very good day to all of you, and a special greeting to my target speaker, Toastmaster Adriana. You said, for me, leadership has never been titles or position. It has always been about you, people around me. And that took all of us got engrossed in your speech. You spoke very clearly and effectively about the theme of inclusive leadership. You explained diverse needs of people, like some people were confident and some people felt invisible. So, how each and every one of the team were feeling, that's most important, to feel inclusive. And your message that inclusion means embracing everyone as they are. You don't want to change anyone, just as the way they are. It was really powerful. You also emphasize that a true leader tells everyone, I see you, I believe in you, and creates a safe space where team members can make mistakes, learn, and grow. The analogy with Toastmasters was excellent, showing how inclusion fosters confidence and how everyone learned from each other. You also said that inclusive organization does not mean everyone is same. Rather, we understand we are different and we learn to embrace the differences and respect each other's perspectives. So the definition was very clear. It was really heartfelt. You spoke from the heart and it was very nice. So I felt that you raised the glass in beginning of the speech. And I feel that if you raise the glass after you have shared your speech, that the main message, then it will be more impactful. Other than that, you spoke very well, and I wish you all the best in your future speeches. Over to you.
Thank you, Deputy, for that detailed feedback, well coordinated and heartfelt to the toast speaker. The only concern here is time in future. Be considerate of time as you give your feedback. Our second evaluator is Robin Stone, who will be evaluating our Toastmaster of the Day, Marie. Robin Stone, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And well done, Marie. It's nearly over. And this was your meeting. It was your theme, which obviously you are enthusiastic about and passionate about, and that came through when you were talking to us and also introducing the various role players today. I think the theme is incredibly relevant, and it was well presented. Of course, the preparation for this meeting starts long before the meeting itself, and it was clear to me, at any rate, by Thursday, that the preparation was just about complete, and all role players had been involved and advised and had cleared their presence. So I was enthusiastic. You embraced the whole theme with enthusiasm. I could understand, and my understanding, by the way, of your accent got better as the meeting progressed. And I found this before. It's just a matter of kind of tuning in, as it were. I would perhaps encourage you just to slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. And it would be just perhaps a little bit easier. Couple of suggestions. One is to stay present throughout the meeting. In other words, don't turn the camera off. I think it's important that the speakers know that there is somebody there, because most cameras actually are off. And so I would encourage that for you and Toastmasters in the future, to stay present. I think also you might have strayed into the general evaluator or into the evaluator's role by making comments after each speech. I think that is for the evaluators to pick up. I really liked it. I will give you a lot more afterwards in writing. So well done, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for that detailed feedback. You were attentive. You gave feedback even for the presence of in the Zoom meeting, and your feedback was quite practical. One question is time, also, but otherwise that was great feedback. We move on to our third evaluator today, who is Hannah Schmidt. Hannah is evaluating our educational speaker, Galido Felix. Hannah, welcome to the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Leading in an inclusive organization. Guerdah, your speech emphasizes that leading in an inclusive organization centers on fostering a sense of belonging, and you have captured that very well. And of course, all this is available at Leadership Speak. My takeaway: you demonstrated empathy, awareness, and intentional leadership actions. I am positive not all of us had that wonderful feeling of immediate inclusion when we walked into our new job, our new employment. Your enthusiasm was contagious. You captured my immediate interest with your 3 questions at the start of the meeting. Imagine, another imagine. Imagine not being included in decision-making and how it affected you emotionally so badly that you had to take 2 weeks off to recover. You showed all the emotions that go with that disappointment. We all need to dive into something deeper. Name the tension. Design the systems to strengthen improvement. Sustain trust as well as connect differently. Mentioning pathways provides the opportunity to be ourselves. In Leadership Speak, as you mentioned, it is practiced through inclusivity, ensuring that everyone is included and we all feel included in that. It was a well-prepared speech with a strong message, and you demonstrated your passion for leading in an inclusive organization. Begin with your voice carried very well. You demonstrated passion for your topic, and you were extremely comfortable with the audience. I have one recommendation for you. Your hand gestures, which greatly emphasize the message, were not always visible. Sometimes they were below the screen. I would have liked to see more of that. Your title was Leading Where Everyone Belongs. Here, I would have appreciated a bit more clarification on where everyone, or you, or I belong. Finally, leading in an inclusive organization. You spoke for nearly 17 minutes. Hey, and with this captivating theme, you could have attracted the audience's attention even more. The speech had a memorable conclusion and a strong appeal for action. Inclusion matters. It enhances innovation. Please lead. Guerdah, I'm looking forward to your next speech and to be inspired by your enthusiasm, your vocal variety and facial expressions, enhancing such a powerful message, leading in an inclusive organization. Madam General Evaluator.
Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Hannah, for that passionate feedback. And definitely the topic touches you in a special way, in the way you brought out the strengths of that speech and the impact it had, and how you've highlighted what could be done better. Great job at that. The only concern here is time. Today, I think we have more to say, but definitely the content was great. Moving on to the next evaluator for our first prepared speech is Nelly Jane. Nelly Jane is evaluating Nicole Whyte. Nelly Jane, this is your time.
Thank you so much, Madam GE. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my biggest takeaway in Nicole's speech is that there is greatness in our consistency. Nicole's speech, Upward, beautifully reminded us that real achievement is not only born in applaud-filled moments, but also in our quiet perseverance, in our consistency. And she opened us with her aha moment. Her son proudly messaging about her new project, so excited, accomplished, yet through a mother's eyes, she could see the exhaustion behind that pride. And that motherly instinct instantly pulled us in and make the story feel real, human, and heartfelt. And from there, she wove a touching narrative, remembering a poem from her childhood that resurfaced at that exact time. She sent it to her son and realized that the message wasn't just for him. It was also for all of us. That greatness also happens behind the scenes, in the late nights, the difficult situations, the teeny tiny steps. And also her reference to Alexander Graham Bell and his invention of the telephone strengthened the idea. The hardest opponent, she said, is a voice in our head that keeps on whispering, "It's too much. You're too tired. Do it tomorrow." And I appreciate how she invited us to embrace that struggle instead of running from it, and how she connected the theme of her speech directly to leadership and personal growth. Nicole didn't just speak to us, her audience. She also brought us into her speech when she asked us to pause, to think about the dream that we are so determined to achieve. The Zoom room shifted from listening to reflecting, and she invites us to affirm that we will not stop. We will keep toiling forward. We must get it done. And those lines were not just words, they were commitments. And so Nicole challenged us to stay in the prep mode, to keep working, to keep learning, to keep trying, even when stepping feels easier. And that is a powerful reminder to each one of us that our every effort matters, and that every step upward, no matter how small it is, always counts. Nicole, Your vocals and your body language were, as always, joy to watch. Your background complemented your presence and strengthened the professional keynote style this project requires. You command the virtual stage with confidence, and your delivery truly supports your message. And I must say, you left me curious about the title of that unforgettable poem. Overall, you ended with such an inspiring note. May we continue to toil upward in the night so that the heights we reach will inspire those we lead. Nicole, this speech felt a warm reminder and a quiet push forward to each one of us. Keep doing what you do. We are all happily toiling upward with you. G.
Thank you, Nelly. You've given your evaluation like a speech, even with a summary. And your highlights is the strength of you remembering specific lines of the speech before analyzing and highlight them before analyzing, because then it becomes quite practical when you give feedback. Great. We move on to the next evaluator. For our second speaker, Vinod Panicker, the evaluator is Iris Casinera. Iris Casinera. Let's highlight Iris. The floor is yours. Casinera with us? Okay, as we try get him, he was, oh yes, he's here. Alice. Okay, I think he could be having the, oh, yeah, he is.
Apologies, I had some internet connection issue, but yeah, thanks a lot. So, Vinod, this was a very strong and engaging speech, and it was built on an extraordinary story. And the image that you brought to us of an office immediately called my attention as you linked, the symptoms of not addressing the root cause, but addressing the symptoms. It was very clear to me. Your narrative flowed logically, and the message resonated with us all. Many of us are guilty of addressing the dead mouse as opposed to addressing the smell in our work, in our life. So that connection made your message very relatable to us and very memorable to myself. You articulated your message very clearly, and it shows the strength of your storytelling capability, because it was very, very evident. I liked your body language, your gestures, your eye contact. Everything was appropriate and was following your narrative. And last but not least, you ended your speech with a strong call for action. Obviously, you did ask me to be looking into clarity, to be looking into engaging, and also to be looking into call for action. You delivered all your speech objectives. To make your speech even more engaging, consider using slight pauses at key moments, especially before and after the main message. That would allow the audience some time to reflect, some time to absorb the lesson, and then take the action that you asked us to take today, which is don't fix the symptoms, but fix the problem. Do not spray in the room to get rid of the smell. Actually find that dead mouse. So in summary, great speech. Vinod, great speech. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Casinera. You had asked me to check whether you captured the core of the message of the speaker, and you did it quite well. And something else you did is capturing the strength of the speaker together with the strength of the speech. And that is important because it affirms the speaker that they are growing, and they also affirms what they are very good at. Moving on to the evaluator of our that speaker, Paramjit, is Pulkit Gupta. Pulkit Gupta, the prize is yours.
Please understand me. You know, a speaker has mastered the art of getting audience attention when even the speech title is able to pull audiences in. And I'm just getting started in the commendations here. My commendation number 1 for Paramjit's speech is that the setup of the speech was skillfully done. Before even exposing us that why does the project even be important in Paramjit's life, he created a setup. He let us know that he was frustrated from being misunderstood, and hence the project became more relevant, understanding communication styles, and then this crescendoed into a clear message about that the best communication style is being flexible. And humor is universally understood. That's my commendation number 2. Paramjit's speech was sprinkled with humor. Words like "congrats, you're a human," "confidently," "unclear," "brain resigned," "captions please," "brainless chicken," and the famous presentation, "Why am I right? Why you are wrong? Questions please." We definitely understood that. My third commendation is the entire speech eventually indexed on a loud and clear message that being flexible in communication is the best communication style rather than just being loud or logical or analytical or clear. The speaker made his point. But understanding comes from not just appreciating the goods, but also understanding what can be made better. This is where true understanding is made. So let's dive into the other side. I felt the speaker's speech had an unanswered question. He did answer that his wife taught him that flexible communication is the best style. But how? What event transpired? What story is behind that? Profound realizations often come at the end of a series of events. Let the audience know that, Paramjit. The second is, the speaker did mention that ultimately being flexible is the best communication style. But how can the audiences be flexible in their communication style? I call this abstract messaging. Abstract messages are hard for audiences to bring into action. The actionable steps gets weak. Let the how be clear. Perhaps being flexible means that being able to adjust what we say without losing what we stand for, as an example. The third is a suggestion, not a recommendation, Paramjit. But you had a 3-character loop with you, the boss, and the project manager who kept on asking, where is the data? Bring the 3-character loop into your home as well. Perhaps your analytical doctor says, Dad, you are wrong. Your supportive self-analytical doctor says that, for example, Dad, I think my analysis is you are wrong. And the wife says, I know he's wrong. Just bring the 3-character loop, perhaps in other aspects. They do this in movies often. And that creates a deja vu effect. Audiences start anticipating the 3 characters coming in at certain points. But that's a suggestion, Paramjit. My recommendation is that bring the how to be flexible, bring a series of events which led to the realization that flexible communication is the best style of communication, instead of just stating that my wife taught me. But keep up with the loud and clear message which your entire speech indexed on. That was clear to me. The communication which is universally understood, and the setup where the pain point was established before the solution was even presented. And I wish you the best in being understood all world over. Over to you, the general evaluator.
Okay. Thanks, Pulkit. I think you are a good teacher of evaluations. And you have very clear points and examples that support your points from the speech. I think it was important for me, and it's good to highlight when you're highlighting about the flow of the speech and what should have come before. That's a very practical recommendation to the speaker that allows them to go back and rework their speech, or in future have a better flow in their speeches. The only concern was time, but definitely we needed to hear what you said, maybe package it better in future. Moving on to a fourth speaker's evaluator, who is our own club president, Holmes Tang. He's evaluating Sandra Valks, the queen of straight talk. Holmes Tang, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam G. Today I will split my evaluation into 4 portions: the takeaway, the project relevance, the speech techniques, and a personal challenge for Sandra. Sandra's key takeaway is clear and very relevant. Let go of our beliefs, question the stories that we are living in, and give ourselves the permission to choose. In a club like Leadership Speak, where one of our core value, if not the core value, is being self-directed. Knowing how we are living ourselves, our metacognition, which by the way is the next week's theme, is very important. That is how we can choose the kind of life that we want to live and also influence the people around us. So I commend Sandra for picking a key takeaway, a good speech, and choosing to deliver it at this club. Now let's talk about the project relevance. While the key takeaway is excellent and relevant for the club, it seems too big for the project. Why do I say so? In the evaluation sheet, the very last criteria describes that the project requires a well-defined change in personal or professional life and a concise benefit of planning. In contrast, where Sandra gave us was an inspiration for us to re-examine our own paradigm that's restricting us from change and what could have enabled us better change for ourselves. So there's a bit of mismatch in this case. Let's talk about the speech techniques. There are many speech techniques that were well used, ranging from personal stories, vocal varieties that range from singing, from more excited voice to a bit of teary, sadder, or some nonchalant, oh, you know, I'm a... Different kinds of voices that gave us a good impression that Sandra is bringing us through the whole story with her voice, and I commend Sandra for this. Through the voice also comes multiple facial expression, multiple hand language, all which are very commendable. A personal challenge for Sandra is that as she goes through her entire speech, I wonder if she can choose 1 or 2 sentences that can become the anchor of her speech. Like one of our earlier speakers used the example of, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Could Sandra use a similar sentence? Like, for example, I set myself free. I examined my own beliefs, or something similar. In conclusion, great speech today, relevant to this club. The speech seems bigger than the project itself, but nevertheless, it is a good example for all members and guests here to learn how to deliver a great speech with personal stories and great vocal varieties. Personal challenge for Sandra, why not find 1 or 2 sentences that can become your iconic sentence? Thank you so much. Back to Madam GE.
Thank you, Holmes, for that detailed feedback. You take the teaching approach when giving feedback, where you examined Sandra's speech and use it to teach the whole audience on how they can utilize certain techniques to make their speech better. I think that's a strength that adds value. to the club and to the meeting. Moving on to the evaluator of our last prepared speech, Irene Sadia. Irene is evaluating Atul Sankar. Irene, Sadia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam GE. Atul, I am not self-made. I am mentor-made. There was a very clear call to action for us that mentorship is priceless and shows you what you can become. So I will talk about what you excelled at and opportunities for growth. As I've said, very clear audience takeaway. Mentorship is priceless and shows you what you can become. You had very good use of gestures where you said priceless. I'm sure we appreciate that. And it helped to draw us into your speech even more. You used questions to us. And I like that your title was very well aligned to the content and the flow of your speech. What could you do better, or opportunities for growth at all? When you talked about, you were showing us the difference between advice and mentorship. And you said advice is cheap. Generally, when we do this is big, large. And so when you extend your arms out, it shows something that's growing. But I would like to imagine you wanted to show us that advice is way smaller and mentorship is what is great. So pay attention to your gestures. Secondly, at the point where you're talking about mentorship and how it's different and how what it did for you, there was an opportunity for you to just pause when you talked about what mentorship has done for you, for the mentors that you walked through their hands, your father, DTM Suresh, DTM Brahm. Pause for us to take in that message, help to bring in the impact. Another point of improvement was when you told us to type in the chat box, but you never went back to the chat box. So I would recommend or suggest, if you're going to tell us to go to the chat box, then pause and go to the chat box. Or when you want us to think through a point or a question, give us a few minutes to think it through. Maybe ask us to note it down. But chat box, sometimes we do forget to come back there. And then I noticed the time when you ended your speech, the light was still green. So you had an opportunity to even build the audience takeaway more and draw us in more to what you want us to go and do. You told us what it has done for you, how you are going to mentor other people, but give us a chance to really, really lock in with you. So in conclusion, great speech. There was a very clear audience takeaway. It was in your theme, title, and your content was in alignment. Good gestures. I would just recommend pay attention to your gestures, think through, internalize your speech better, and use the pauses more. You are going to make this an even more elevated speech. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you, Irene. You had asked me to check about your critical thinking through your feedback, and it came through, especially when thinking through the whole speech and the impact and what was missing and what should be fixed. One thing that I would want to highlight is your body language. Your body speaks and speaks loudly. And my concern is that sometimes part of your body is outside the screen, and it's a major part of your communication. And I think it's a concern that next time when you're having a conversation, check how far your hands can move so that then you're within the screen and we can see, because they reinforce what you're saying. And with that, we come to the end of our feedback section from our speakers. Thank you, evaluators, for giving us practical, helpful feedback. I'm sure the speakers are wiser and are affirmed on what they do well. Right now, I would ask the Zoom master to place the poll for the better evaluator. There we go. We have a few seconds to vote for the better evaluator. Right, and as we vote, I'll also request the timer to put the timing for the evaluators on the chat so that we can see how much time was taken to give feedback.
Yours added. It's already added.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Anissa. Thank you for passing across. We move on, and I invite our grammarian now to give us a report on how we use the word of the day and how effective we were with the King's language. Ray Rivero, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Wahinga. First, I realize that most of us, except for the speakers and evaluators, and as well as the Toastmaster today and the general evaluator, don't really have an opportunity to use today's word of the day. So please, before you feel excluded, we want to embrace your use of the day by just putting it into the chat. Go ahead. I got a couple of minutes to add that. For those who have used it, like Geothy Thomas, myself, Hannah, Guerdah, and Nicole, thank you for remembering your words. The word of the day. How many times as Toastmasters, especially when we're going to speak, think about the word of the day? Oh, I'm going to use it. But then the moment we start the speech, oh my God, I got to go through the speech. And we forget the word of the day. Now, filler words. Great job by today's speakers to not use filler words. Those represent kind of glitches in our thought process. Okay, Irfan, I will wrap this up real quick. So let me just say, well, so like, but repeats. There. Those are the improper grammatical styles. Marie, you just used the so and then a little bit of a glitch of can you welcome, you used it twice. Just keep calm, carry on. Robin, couple of ums. Hannah, a little stumble, also keep calm and carry on. Because we kind of think about things, but then we and then we stumble to say it. So what goes in the mind, coming out of the mouth, it just happens. But a lot of great words said today by our speakers. For example, Guerdah had a lot of great sayings. Lead when consensus feels impossible. Brain fog, countenance, things like that. Nicole, grit, intent, resolute. Preparation mode. Oh, how, and Nelly's quote in your evaluation, spot on. Vinod, find your mouse. Fix your life. And the next moment. And Paramjit, you're officially human. Thanks, Paramjit. I never thought about that. And then our Aries, he reminds us. He said it twice for emphasis. Great. Sandra, quitter, inner committee. What belief are you still living? Atul, mentorship shows what to become. And Marie, saying it in the French equivalent of okay with this. Great. We always want to use those emphasis. Yes, I know I went way over time, but we had a lot of great quotes, a lot of great words. And I see in the chat, you're not taking up my challenge of typing in embrace. Hurry up. The meeting's about to end. Go ahead and enter that. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray, for encouraging us to use the word of the day. You had a detailed feedback, but one thing stands out, your concern of the choice of words. And I think that I take with me, how important the words we use and the implication they have. And that came through when you were choosing the word of the day, bearing the theme, how to come through and how to pass the theme through. And even when you came in today, after greeting us, it was very important for you to help us embrace that word of the day and use it. And you're still concerned whether we are using it. I think the whole of this week, we need to embrace people, embrace ideas, and include ourselves in spaces that allow us to do our best and become what we need to be. So great feedback there. And now I move to my own feedback of what I said in the meeting today. Great meeting, great energy. Marie, you are a high energy person with a lot of enthusiasm that came through, right? Even from the preparation of this meeting. There were no gray areas, whether one required to prepare or not and show up for this meeting. And you helped each one of us. You put us on our toes, and we were able to do what we needed to do. And people showed up on time, and the meeting was seamless. And when you showed up today, you showed up dressed in style, and even you carried your smile along that set the tone of a high energy meeting today. Moving on to the greeting session, it was warm, it was welcoming, and I think it was a great moment also for people to come in and help position their cameras so that they, later on, when they have their moments to speak, then they are ready. I looked at the transitions that were, and great transitions, but there was one concern of time and flow, and perhaps a recommendation here for the Toastmaster of the day. I think it has been highlighted by the evaluator. One thing you could do is pick a takeaway from a speaker, so that you're not evaluating your speech, but you, of course, highlight what you caught from the conversation. Something else is in the introductions. It could be heavy. I found it heavy on your head because you introduced both personally the evaluator and the speaker. For easier flow, let the evaluator sleep at that moment, and the other role takers, like the general evaluator, can take up that role. Otherwise, your energy was high. You were able to take care of it without breaking the energy of the meeting. Right, I look at the evaluators. You did a fantastic job. You gave practical evaluations. You demonstrated great listening skills. And I think today, most of the evaluators were so passionate. They were dissecting into details that time flipped by. But definitely you had the heart of evaluation. But of course, concern of time is important. We had informative speeches. Of course, diversity played its bit. And I think we are wiser, we are more informed, and I think we leave a better team than we came in. All in all, great meeting. Always good to be in a Leadership Speak meeting. And wow, what a powerful theme we had for the day, and I think it is going to carry us this year. Well done, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Vaida, for this part of session of the meeting. So now we direct your attention to our role player of the day, John Ojefo. He's a DTM physician scientist. He believes leading an inclusive organization is about intentionally creating an environment where every voice is welcomed, respected, and valued. Let's hear from John Ojefo.
Leading an inclusive organization. Inclusion is not mere representation, it is about belonging. As we heard from our educational speaker today, Inclusion is not a buzzword. It means intentionally creating a culture where every voice is welcomed, respected, and valued. A state where every person feels they belong and differences are recognized as strengths, not obstacles. Inclusive leaders don't just invite people to the table. They listen, learn, and act to ensure everyone is empowered, can contribute, and succeed. It is practiced through empathy, curiosity, and respect for others. Therefore, as we conclude today's meeting, remember, inclusion matters. Leading an inclusive organization is about belonging. I invite each one of us to embrace and embody inclusive leadership principles, because when leaders lead with inclusion, organizations don't just thrive, they flourish. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this thought of the day. So now, let's move on to the results of the votes cast by our audience and our international club. And thank you to my team who showed great flexibility by taking on several roles, including Nelly at the last minute. Shall we embrace the results? What a suspense! The best speaker is Vinod Panicker. Is it really a suspense? I don't think so, but well done, Vinod. And after, who is the best evaluator? The best evaluator is Irene Sadia. Well done, Irene. And Nelly Jane Galido. We have two best evaluator. Well done, and congratulations. So now I invite our president on stage to speak with our guests.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Marie. Let's hear from a few guests. Leah Minja, are you available to speak?
Thank you, Mr. President. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. Is it convenient also for you to turn on your camera?
On the, let's see. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody.
Glad to see you. Share with us, what are some of your comments for the meeting?
Thank you very much. It was such a delight for me to attend another one of your meetings this year. I have been a frequent visitor. I am attending from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I am a member of the Toastmasters Club. It's the theme of today's meeting aligns so much with my work because I work for various stakeholders, and it's crucial and equally important to include an aspect of inclusion in most of our team. So listening to the education speaker, listening to the Toastmaster of the day brought me so much knowledge, which I will impart to my colleagues at work so that we can exercise the world that is even better. Thank you, and over to you, President.
Thank you so much, Leah. Next person I would like to invite to speak. It's also a former member. I wonder if it's available. Dan, are you available to speak for a short moment?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, Dan, how are you? The club misses you.
Thank you. I miss them also, but I'm happy to be here also to visit and see my many friends. Marie, you've done a fantastic job. Fantastic, Marie. Very nicely done. I'm always happy to come back here and see what's happening in Leadership Speak. Always inspiring, always great, and doing a very good job, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for keeping the flag flying high.
Thank you so much, Dan. Michael Jose, are you available? Michael?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Michael. And yes, your audio is a lot clearer now. Thank you so much. How do you feel about the meeting? Share with us.
Today we had a wonderful meeting that I had experienced from the beginning to the end with all exciting elements. The Toastmaster of the day, the general evaluator, and the many prepared speakers, they have done fantastic job that I never experienced before. I think this Toastmaster Club is superior one in the world. I'm eager to come here and again. Thank you. Get back to the President Holmes. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm mindful of the time. I'd like to hand back to the TMOD for some concluding reflections and to adjourn the meeting. Members and guests, after we have adjourned the official chapter meeting, we will still have a post-meeting discussion and interaction. Please feel free to stay back if you're available. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much, our President Holmes. Dear member and guests, I hope you enjoyed this meeting as much as I did. If you are guests and would like to join our club, please don't hesitate to talk to us. Thank you all for this lovely day. I declare this meeting adjourned. When you embrace inclusion, you're not losing control. You're multiplying your organization's potential. Best wishes to all.